Brad Norman from KBN. You're listening to 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, WBEVAM, Beaver Dam, Dodge County, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time for the Damn Sports Show, presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun, featuring Mr. Smooth himself.
My who's hot is Wally.
Yeah, that's fair.
Smoking hot.
Corey Sparks, and a real athlete.
I am an athlete. I am going to show up and dominate.
Wally Lukaczynski, covering everything Titletown and pro, college, and high school sports around South Central Wisconsin. Here are these heroes, really heroes?
Just proving the hero that I am, just in the nick of time to be tortured for all of your enjoyments at home.
Okay, here are these heroes now. Broadcasting live on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Daily Dodge TV, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hello and happy Friday, everybody. The weekend is here, basically. Pretty much. Maybe you have a few responsibilities you still got to get through, but the weekend's essentially here. 4:01, I'll declare it the start of it. We're excited for it. We're excited to have Jason Wilde join us in just a few moments to talk Packers football. Another Week 4 matchup at AT&T Stadium in Jerry's World against the COWBOYS. Micah Parsons' revenge game could be loading. We preview a pair of consequential prep football matchups between Beaver Dam's rivalry game at home, finally back at home, with Watertown, and Markesan going for a 6-0 start as they welcome in a one-loss squad in Poinette. Both of those games will be on Daily Dodge TV. Beaver Dam's rivalry home game will be simulcasted on 1430 ESPN, an hour 45 after this show concludes today. Third block, I sat down with Jon Arias, the play-by-play voice of Badger Women's Volleyball. You'll hear that interview in its entirety in the third segment as we preview the Big Ten volleyball season. Wisconsin starts that tonight against Rutgers. First serve set for 7 p.m. on 100.5 ESPN Madison. You'll hear a handful of those matches on 1430 ESPN, but tonight, due to scheduling conflicts with Beaver Dam football taking precedent, you want to go over to 100.5 ESPN Madison to listen to Badgers Women's Volleyball tonight. And we'll wrap up today's program with Cover5 Picks. This is the Damn Sports Show on 1430 ESPN, Daily Dodge TV, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. I'm Corey Sparks. I'm joined in the Daily Dodge TV studios by Wally Lukaczynski. We've been sprinting around, had our last brat fried today. Jack Wilsky's in the 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam production studios. And now we finally get to take a breath.
I'm so fired up to take that breath right now with you because tonight is rivalry night in Beaver Dam. Watertown, Golden Beavers. It doesn't get any better than that. A lot on the line for both sides. I'm excited to be out there. A little excited that we're back finally home, got home cooking, but that's only a few hours away, so make sure you stay tuned, stick around here, and then tune over on Daily Dodge TV when we get rolling there about 6:45.
I'm excited for this Sunday because on Sunday Night Football, the Packers are going to take on the COWBOYS. Already got some lore with that matchup. Obviously, they faced off in Jordan Love's first career playoff win as the starter for Green Bay. I almost said Beaver Dam. Our Packers guy, Jason Wilde, joins us now to preview the matchup. You can hear Jason live on Wilde and Tausch weekdays from 9 to noon across ESPN Wisconsin. You can also read Jason's work on channel3000.com. Happy Friday, Jason. How are you? Uh-oh. Jason, we got you there? Maybe. Aha.
Yeah, you've got me.
Okay.
Watertown Goslings?
The Goslings, yes, sir.
All those days of covering high school sports paying off yet again. How you doing, guys?
Doing good.
Doing great. A lot of great football coming up, hopefully, this weekend, Jason. I know you're probably pretty fired up to talk Micah Parsons.
I'm fired up to talk to you guys. I don't care what the topic is.
We appreciate that. Jason, there's an opportunity, speaking of Micah Parsons going against the COWBOYS, there's an opportunity for a lot of emotions to be involved in this game coming up on Sunday Night Football with how that Parsons and COWBOYS and Jerry Jones divorce transpired. Is that a good thing? I mean, there's a fine line between channeling those emotions and letting them control you. I know you're a dad of some high school athletes, so is it good to be able to channel certain emotions and go into competition with that? Or do you think two things can be true and that needs to be limited in a certain aspect in a situation like this?
Yeah, well, first of all, my primary emotion after you saying that is don't ever say that I'm a father of high school athletes again, because I can't believe that that's true. They were like 5 and 6 like a week ago, I swear. I don't want to be feeling any older than I already am. But yes, they're on their way right now to the homecoming parade, and they're trying to figure out which of the two teams that they're on for fall sports they're walking with in the parade. So I don't know if they're doing half with the golf team and Maddie half with the cross-country team and Sydney with the other half with the volleyball team or what. But look, emotion is part of sports, right? It's one of the things we love about it, right? And it's always part of the outcome, either the agony of defeat or the thrill of victory and the emotions that come with that. I think it's going to be interesting for Micah Parsons because he certainly has bad blood, as Taylor Swift might say, with Jerry Jones, but I don't think he has any with the fans, and he doesn't have any with his former teammates. Like, he keeps in touch with a bunch of them. You know, he never wanted, again, and I believe him when he says this, he never wanted to leave. Like, he wanted the Cowboys to pay him and would have been pleased as punch to spend his entire career there if they had paid him commensurate with what he believed he was worth, and certainly what the rest of the league believed he was worth. The Packers had no problem shelling out $188 million for him. So, you know, for him, I think it's probably mixed emotions. Like, I want to shove it up Jerry Jones's plastic surgeon repaired face, and but I still love my guys. And when I sack Dak Prescott, I'm going to have mixed feelings about that because I love the guy. You know, I think with Kenny Clark, it's kind of the same way. I think both of those guys want to play well against their former team, whether there's animus there or not. You know, I think Kenny probably feels like, you know, I know he does because he said this yesterday, he was blindsided by the trade, and that I don't think he's probably looking to send Goody a Christmas card. But at the same time, he said, I can't think of a single day where I went to work and I didn't love where I worked and wasn't excited to be there. So, you know, it's not the level of animosity that, say, Brett Favre felt for the Packers when he was playing for the Vikings. And so I do think that, you know, and Brett's a great example of someone who channeled that anger and those emotions into two really, really good performances during that 2009 season.
Every time it seems like somebody talks about Kenny Clark, and someone close to this team talks about how close he was with so many people in that locker room, I have a two-part question for you here, Jason, where when you have a guy like Kenny Clark that's been a part of a team for so long, do you believe there is an advantage one side or another in that initial matchup? And then a little bit more of a fun question for you on the backside. If he does trade jerseys with one of those former teammates, who would you bet it would be?
So he told us yesterday that it'll probably be Rashawn Gary because he's the oldest, so he played with him the longest.
Okay, fair enough.
When he and I corresponded after the trade and after I had talked to, you know, everyone from Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson, who are both rookies, to Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks, who are a little more experienced, all those guys wanted in on it. They all wanted a jersey. Now, it's funny to talk to Elton Jenkins this week, because Elton Jenkins says, I don't want that 95 Dallas garbage. I want a 97 Packers jersey, which I thought, so that'll be easier for him to get. But my point is that, you know, Kenny and I kind of joked about it. I said, are you able to, like, print up extra jerseys? Because all these guys want one. But that's the impact he's had. And he really, you know, again, putting it through the prism of the value of team sports and growing and who you become as a person, like, he is the teammate you want. Like, he talked about it yesterday, how I taught them, you've heard the old saying, I taught him everything he knows. His line was, I taught them everything I know.
Ooh, I like that.
Is a great quote, right? That he poured into them every single piece of advice that he could, and that, I think, is something that's, you know, not as common as you would like it to be in the world today in terms of, you know, guys that are threatened or insecure. So I just have so much respect for Kenny, and we definitely miss him around here. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. And the players obviously miss him a lot more.
Well, I know the Packers are missing quite a few pieces on the offensive line right now, Jason. You like that? I heard
that. Yeah, God,
he was impressed with that.
Between that and your Monster Energy drink, you are really a pro.
Does that play during Wilde and Tausch, Jason?
Every single day.
I figured. Yep. Okay.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Jason. You got to hear my voice when you're trying to do your job.
Well, it's not even your voice, though. It's like this kind of cartoon character version
it's like
of
Wally AI.
Like I said, it's kind of got like, it was my idea of a closest to Wally Randy Savage that I could throw out there.
Snap into a Wally gym.
Oh, Jason, you're the man. So first, I got to go back. I got to ask about the O-line because I know we only have a few minutes here with you. But Anthony Belton is yet another piece on that line that we now see is not going to be a part of this game this weekend, and it seems to be putting Darian Kennard in line to start. How has he looked in your eyes since this trade in the offseason, and do they feel comfortable if they do have to depend on him at tackle for a little while?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they necessarily do, right? I mean, he was kind of the last man standing. They don't have much of an option now. Now, if they were going to be able to play Aaron Banks at left guard, then maybe it's a different story, right? Then maybe they start Jordan Morgan at right tackle and they don't play Darian Kennard. Because remember, that's what they did on the second snap of the game in Cleveland when Zach Tom went out after one play. But Aaron Banks ain't playing either. He's doubtful, which they might as well have just ruled him out. I don't know why they didn't. I think it's highly unlikely he's going to play. So it'll be Darian Kennard at right tackle, and it'll be Jordan Morgan at left guard. But then after that, then what? Right? You got Donovan Jennings, who Matt LaFleur was so unfamiliar with that when he got reps with the starters in minicamp, LaFleur wasn't even sure who he was. So that's not a great sign. And then Brant Banks, they got two Banks on the roster now. Brant Banks, no relation, who played at Nebraska for a long time, and then his last year at Rice, undrafted rookie free agent. He's like an injury or two away from having to play too. So it'll be really interesting. Hopefully they can get through the game healthy, because if they don't, they are down to the bottom of their roster on the offensive line.
Last one for you, Jason. I know you got to fly here soon. We saw Matthew Golden get more touches last week, 52 receiving yards. The Cowboys have allowed Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden to just torch them the last couple of weeks. What talks have you heard about Matthew Golden and this wide receiving core being able to just feast on a defense that's allowed about 400 yards per game?
Yeah, I don't think when you play the way they did offensively against the Browns, even though the Browns obviously have a much better defense, you can really talk about feasting on anybody, right? Fair. So I think they are encouraged by Golden. Like he gets open. He admitted that it would have been nice if he would have put a split in the ground and gone upfield instead of running out of bounds on that 34-yard catch he had. But yeah, look. We've got to be realistic. He's a rookie. He's making progress. There's all kinds of reasons to be excited about him. But it's going to be fits and starts. It's going to be ups and downs for him. And maybe this week, it's one of those ups. But, they are definitely, if they didn't learn anything from last Sunday, then they're going to be in trouble, because the lesson they have to have learned is you haven't arrived and you haven't won anything yet except a couple of games to start the year. You can't look at these guys like you're better than them.
Very well put. Jason, we appreciate the time. The lesson that I learned is I'm not going to declare our conversation next week Wednesday as a Victory Wednesday before the football game happens. So we will talk to you then.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
All right, thank you very much. That is our Packers guy, Jason Wilde, who joins us every Wednesday and Friday. I know he's probably still on the line. Now I can probably say it. He has a heart out and has to talk to TMJ. Jason, the three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year. Got to sneak that in once in a while. Well done. You can hear Jason live on Wilde and Tausch weekdays from 9 to noon. You can also read his work on channel3000.com, whether it's after a 40-13 win or a 13-10 loss to the Browns last week. Jason does a great job of diving into the different storylines throughout the week leading up to matchups and coming off of them. When we return, Beaver Dam and Markesan have a prep sports doubleheader across our platforms tonight. in just a couple of hours. Coverage is going to start on Daily Dodge TV and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Even before that, honestly, we'll have football Friday night leading into it. We are going to go over the keys to victory for Beaver Dam football and for Markesan football in our Prep Sports doubleheader tonight. That's on the other end of the break. You are listening to the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
Attention sports. Attention sports fans. Whether you're chasing the hottest rookie card, that next big autographed sports card, or looking for expert card services, Real Sports Cards is here for you. For everything from sports to Pokemon cards, visit the store in downtown Waupun today. Go to the Apple Store or Google Play and download the Real Sports Cards app for all live online card breaks. Watch, collect, and win from anywhere. Real Sports Cards, where sports fans come to play.
For Green Bay Packers football, 95.3 WBEV.
There's power in your smile. Hi, this is Dr. Adam Forster from Columbus Family Dental. Your smile can make or break a day, start a conversation, even double a dose of courage. At Columbus Family Dental, we are committed to protecting your grin from ear to ear. Young and old, orthodontics to cosmetics, we're here to make it that much easier to share your smile. Columbus Family Dental is now accepting every kind of smile. Call us today for a free, no-pressure consultation at 623-5559.
Are you tired of battling a damp, musty basement? Air Care in Beaver Dam has a solution for you. The April Air Dehumidifier will significantly improve the air quality in your basement by removing up to 100 pints of moisture per day. That's 12.5 gallons. The April Air Dehumidifier is quiet, energy efficient, and backed by an impressive 5-year replacement warranty. If you want a crisp, dry lower level for more living space or storage, call Air Care at 920-356-8860. Big enough to serve you and small enough to care.
Step into a world so fine, shiny floors that truly shine, tiles and wood you'll adore, get it all at Professional Floor. Showers, blinds, counters too, everything just like brand new. They've got what you're looking for, only here at Professional Floor.
Okay, full disclosure, we still don't sing here, but since I've got the mic, let me drop some knowledge. At Professional Floor Covering, we've got the best brands and styles for every project. Whether you're looking for cabinets, blinds, flooring, or more, we're here to make your home look amazing. Check out our showroom to explore our wide range of luxury vinyl plank flooring. Need a bathroom makeover? We've got custom marble and ceramic showers and countertops to elevate your space. And if you're thinking kitchen upgrade, our cabinet and porcelain tile selection is top notch. Take a look online at proflr.com and stop in to visit us at 713 Park Avenue. Time to hand the mic back.
Life is full of adventures. Get the most out of them with the help of a primary care team you can count on. At Marshfield Clinic, primary care is here to keep you feeling great when you're on top of the world, help you bounce back when you're not, and most importantly, to help you enjoy each adventure with confidence. Request your primary care appointment at a Marshfield Clinic location near you. Visit marshfieldclinic.org/primary care.
Hey, it's Stacy with Slumberland, Beaver Dam in Watertown. Our fall home sale is going on right now, and you can save big with tons and tons of Sealy mattresses. This amazing wintergreen Sealy mattress is on sale for as little as $399, or pick your comfort. For $999, you can get a firm, a medium tight top, a medium hybrid, or a soft pillow top, or a soft mattress for as little as $999, and pick your comfort. Shop local and save on all of your favorite mattress brands with us during our fall home sale going on right now at Slumberland Furniture, Beaver Dam in Watertown.
The Dam Sports Show, presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun. Your favorite local sports teams, your favorite local sports hosts. It's Corey and Wally on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
If you are looking for a one-stop shop for all things sports cards, make sure you head on over to our friends at Real Sports Cards in Waupun. or you can check out the Real Sports Cards app if you're on our Daily Dodge TV YouTube screen. You can see us downloading it and shortly afterwards navigating through it on the screen. With live break streaming right on that very app, you can grab individual cards on the go, be a part of a group, and watch for your favorite players and teams as the packs get opened in real time. Go to the Apple or Google Play Store today, look for that orange logo, and take your collection to the next level with Real Sports Cards. They are your local resource for all things sports cards, Pokemon cards, and more. It is rivalry week on the gridiron, and this time Beaver Dam gets to host the matchup. We're talking about Watertown at Beaver Dam football. The Goslings coming into this game at 1-4, Beaver Dam 2-3, trying to even their tally back out at 500, get back-to-back key conference wins after a running clock at the end of their 37-0 blowout win over a pretty respectable Kettle Moraine Lutheran team. I know they were missing their stud running back, but Beaver Dam came to play. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. on 1430 ESPN and on Daily Dodge TV. We're going to do a quick but simple segment here, keys to victory for Beaver Dam, and then pointed at Markesan, we'll go over to that high-powered prep matchup as well.
I will start with right away. You got to get stops early if you're Beaver Dam. In this season, when they have given up a score in their opening drive, they've gone 0-2 in those games. They were playing from behind against Mount Horeb. They were playing from behind against Sauk Prairie. And when you're doing that, it kind of puts you off schedule. It makes you a little bit more uncomfortable when you're running your offense. In these last few weeks, we've seen a lot of that Wildcat really being incorporated, and it puts the ball in Parker Blank's hands right away, makes him make decisions. It allows you to have an extra blocker, too, as they are trying to establish a little bit more presence at that interior offensive line. If you're able to get a stop early, take a little bit of that excitement, that belief out. Last year, Watertown walked down the field and scored on their opening drive.
And then did not score again.
They did not, but it was 10-7 at half. It was really back and forth. Take that hope out right away. If you can find a way, get a stop. They've kicked off in every single game to start this season. Maybe tonight you win the toss. If you do, find a way to get on the board early. Play it ahead. When you do that, good things are going to happen.
Beaver Dam, it's been 2 weeks since they returned a kickoff return for a touchdown. I feel
it's
like
true.
we're in quite the drought here. Would be curious to see what Watertown special teams does. That's football program. Coach Krogan, he's got them going in the right direction. They showed strides against a Beaver Dam team that went to level 2 last year, took an early lead, and kept it competitive through about 2.5, 3 quarters before the skill gap became a little more apparent, and the Golden Beavers pulled away. We're using that passing game with Eli Bryant last year. My key, control everything up front, a.k.a. the offensive line. You mentioned it, right? The Wildcat's been working. The single wing's been working. They've been a very run-oriented offense. But they snuck in some passes. Jack Sladron went 4 for 5 last week, was able to drive the ball down the field a little bit. They do little reverse screens. They were able to fool Kettle Moraine Lutheran, the Chargers defense. I think the passes that Beaver Dam has snuck in there, they caught KML off guard. If you mix them in strategically, and I know Brock Lindy's diving in trying to find every possible way to throw a team that probably knows them better than anybody, and that goes the other way, Beaver Dam knowing Watertown better than anybody, trying to throw them off guard. And I think it starts with the offensive line. It starts with that deception and pulling out a pass when they least expect it. But it all starts with winning those battles in the trenches against a team that Watertown's desperate for a win right now, too. They want to leave this matchup 2-4, everything with Tier 1, Tier 2 points. They see Beaver Dam, they're licking their chops going, this is a multi-win program that looks like they're heading in the right direction. We want to win over them. And then it's the weird part where you beat someone and you root for their wins after because it helps you from a strength of victory perspective.
Yeah, it's a brand new world. We're kind of learning on the fly with it as well, but every game matters. Not only the games that you've already played and the ones you're playing, but to your point, you kind of start rooting for the teams that you played before when you get wins.
Like Beaver Dam's a big KML fan the rest of the year.
They are. All of a sudden, we're like, well, I really hope that running back's back and healthy tonight. Yep. Because, that was a lot better squad. I know you get running clock. That was an impressive win last week, and it felt like there was a little bit of mojo that was reinstilled into that Beaver Dam side. I will also mention, too, the deception that you were talking about, you almost get a little of that from the passing game as well, because so effective are the screens that they've been running this year, whether it's the wide receiver screens out wide, the middle wide receiver screens right up the gut, where you let that interior rush come in, and all of a sudden it's an Ashton Seaford or a Paminter right there. Catch last week they had a 94-yard touchdown that got called back on it. So the screen passes, very excited to see if those continue to work.
I liked how those were mixed in, and if you go on boundwisconsin.com, we mentioned this earlier in the week, Travis Wilson does an amazing job there. He's kind of taken a lot of the data over from WIS Sports and it's a very easy to navigate site. They just posted, you'd have to go down, scroll down in the article, tab a little bit, or you can just go to Google like I did and look up Week 5 Wisconsin Football Playoff Matrix. That's Week 5 Wisconsin Football Playoff Matrix. You'll see it's hyperlinked through boundwisconsin.com. And what that is that's telling you what the 32-team playoff field in Division II looks like right now, with the total points, the Tier 1 points, the Tier 2 points, and Tier 2 wins, which is on a point system as well. 32 teams make the bracket. Beaver Dam is 36 right now. They rose up a handful of spots after beating Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Watertown is 39. So either of these teams, they're thinking, if we get this win, we're very close. Again, you're at the mercy of what the other teams, like a Kaukauna at 31, a Nicolay at 32, a DeForest at 34. Hello, old conference friend. Brookfield Central, the Fighting Ashley Dobrzinskis. You're looking around and hoping certain chips fall, but all Beaver Dam and all Watertown can do right now is control their own destiny. If they win, I'd say if Beaver Dam wins 2-3 more games, if Watertown wins 3-4 more games, then you just see how everything falls in the playoff matrix. But these are two teams, they're outside looking in, but not by that much. They're both considered fringe playoff teams at the moment.
I know Brock Lindy, and I know every high school coach, they say the same thing, but it's because it's correct. All you can do is go 1-0 every Friday night, and you have to take it, whether it's a series at a time, a play at a time. You just have to focus on the task at hand. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. It's going to be two hungry teams that don't like each other all that much, is what I'm gathering here after about 15 months in this area. And I finally get to be there in person for it, and to have that right over here. First time that Beaver Dam is back home, and it seems like forever. Only had the Mount Horeb game this year. Everything else has been on the road. Being able to get back in front of the home fans, I think it's going to be an electric environment tonight, and I am itching to get there.
I'm excited for it. Just to kind of go back to the Matrix really quick, I was scrolling on it. I'm not going to go into some wormhole like I did with the stat that's referred to as stuffs yesterday. Still wowed by that. But looking at strength of victory, River Falls is in D2. They're 4-1. They're 18th in the playoff matrix because of who they've beaten. Milwaukee King is 19th, one spot behind them, and they're 2-3. So it matters who you beat, not how many teams you beat. Obviously, how many teams you beat will help. Kettle Moraine is 2-3. They are 23rd in the matrix. 22nd in the matrix is West Bend West. They're 4-1. There are 2 and 3 teams that are above 4-1 teams because of just the strength of victory. So as much as Beaver Dam and Watertown will not have any love lost after this game, whoever wins is rooting for the other one.
It makes it easier.
You go have a great season, guys. Have fun.
It makes it a lot easier when you get the win to be able to root for it. And I know on the other side, it's almost like begrudgingly, I can't believe our wins are going to be helping this team going forward. So very much a lot on the line tonight, as it is every single time, it feels like, when these two teams match up.
A lot on the line for Markesan and Poinette. That's the other broadcast on Daily Dodge TV. Markesan had 4 wins in the last 2 seasons combined. Through 5 weeks, they're 5-0. They're considered a top 10 team according to boundwisconsin.com in Division 6. And Poinette is 4-1. This is a litmus test for both of these teams. You've had a great start so far. You're going up against a power in your respective conference. How do you handle it? And pregame coverage starts at 6:45 p.m. on Daily Dodge TV for that one. Keys to victory, since Markesan's the local team we're following, I'm going to say keep the legs fresh. I was talking to head coach John Dunleavy. It's not a bell cow mentality here where you're handing it off to someone who's going to have 1,400 yards on the ground by themselves. Could be a lot of 900, 1,000, maybe even in the 1,100-yard territory. But it's not just one person. 4 different rushers have over 200 yards on the ground. They're playing to everybody's skill set, whether it's Treston Eckstein getting those tough yards or somebody else breaking it to the outside. It's up to Coach Dunleavy to find out who needs to get slotted in where, what scenario fits them best. This is a great chance for Markesan to not just start the season 6-0, but take down a really talented Poinette team that beat them 28-0 in Poinette last year.
Yeah, and when last year Poinette took it to him, but again, Markesan, with that senior leadership, it's going to be very important for them to control the line of scrimmage in this game, because unlike you flip it around to Poinette can throw the ball. They don't love to, but they're able to at least sling it around the field a little bit, where Markesan, the Hornets on the other side, they don't have more than 96 yards passing so far this year. If they're not able to stay on schedule and you force them to throw the ball a little bit, they could run into issues. But then you flip it to the Pumas on the other side. they're a team, again, they have two guys that have over 7 yards per carry that have over 300 yards on the year. So they're also able to run it down your throat. I think that whoever is able to force that team into 3rd and 6s, those 3rd and 7s, they're going to put themselves in a position. But this is a hell of a matchup that I think a lot of people going into the year that weren't paying a lot of attention did not expect these teams to be 9-1 combined going into this one.
And these are two teams that could be hosting multiple playoff games depending on what happens for each respective side. When we return, I sat down with Jon Arias. He's the play-by-play voice for the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network. Big Ten play starts for them tonight. They're going up against Rutgers. You won't be able to listen on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. You will be able to listen on 100.5 ESPN Madison tonight because of our prep coverage. When we return, my conversation with Jon ahead of Big Ten play. This is the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
Hi, this is Andy Ryan, head
Rutgers Scarlet Knights, and there's no one better to bring in to talk Wisconsin Badgers volleyball than the man himself, Jon Arias, the voice of Badgers women's volleyball, who you can hear on every broadcast on 100.5 ESPN Madison and right here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Jon, I know head coach Kelly Sheffield will tell you every match matters, but everything's magnified when that conference column starts filling up. What have you seen from the Badgers, who went 7-1 in non-conference play to start? And thank you for joining me today.
Well, it's great to be here. Yes, every match matters. He makes that a priority because you don't want to get in a situation where you were off one night or not focused one night, and there's a team you could have beaten, you didn't beat them, and now it comes down to the wire, and you wish you had that game back. So, I mean, whether it's Rutgers on the schedule, Maryland on the schedule, whoever it is, he really does take every single match. They approach every single match the same way. How is the team? The team's pretty good. At the start of the season, I was excited. I was excited to see what this team is going to look like on the court because you could tell they had talent. Mimi Collier, Grace Egan. You could tell that those are going to be some powerful attackers. Who else was going to contribute? You knew the middle blockers were going to be solid with Carter Booth and Alicia Andrew. You knew the setting was going to be good. What was the libero going to look like? There was a lot of question marks, but after the first 8 matches of the non-conference and getting to watch them play, I think they're getting better, and I think they still have a lot of room to grow. And that's something that Kelly Sheffield stresses, Corey, every single season. He is trying to get a little bit better every single week, so you're peaking in December come NCAA tournament time. So if that's the case for this year's team, my goodness, because I already think that opposing defenses have to deal with these back row attacks that the Badgers are throwing at everybody this year. Like, if they can get even better than what they are right now, I think look out toward the end of the season.
I'm glad you brought up Mimi a moment ago because every college goes through turnover, whether it's with eligibility, graduation, what have you, the portal. But, Jon, this team losing heavy hitters like Sarah Franklin and Anna Schmreck, it left a lot of Badgers fans wondering who's going to fill those vacancies. And then we met Mimi Collier early on in the season. What has Mimi done through the first month of play to assert herself as a dominant outside hitter on this team?
Well, she has, just like Sarah Franklin, a variety of shots in her bag that she can bust out at any time. And then I think she has, what this offense is trying to do, she's a beneficiary of that too. And what this offense is trying to do is they're swinging out of the back row more and more so than they've ever done. Kelly likes to take the personnel and then look at what they can do with the personnel as opposed to fitting the personnel within the system. And Mimi Collier's just, they have maximized her talents. I think she has the highest number of back row attacks of any player this season. She has all the shots, like I mentioned, and she leads the country, Corey, in kills per set to the non-conference heading into the Big Ten. That's every single player in Division I. Mimi Collier has the best kills per set. So that is something that I think is not, well, maybe a little surprising. Like, you knew she was going to be good. I don't know if I expected 5.3 kills per set out the gate good. We'll see where that number settles as the Big Ten, continues on. But, man, she has been a workhorse. She's been the go-to for Wisconsin. And, Kelly said at the start of the year, they needed her to be better than what she was at Oregon. And I think with the offense and the players and the talent around her, she is producing. She is better than what she was at Oregon, which was great to begin with.
And one of the players who you could argue has elevated her skill set, Charlie Furbringer, the sophomore, runs this offense. Jon, what impresses you about her game and how she puts her teammates in great positions, like Mimi, to succeed early on here?
Yeah, it's the decision-making, right? It comes down to where are you setting the ball, and then it comes down to how you set the ball to each individual hitter. Dennis Punzel had a great write-up was it last week, I think it was, Wisconsin State Journal, and I recommend anyone who's interested in volleyball or interested in this team to go read it because he talks about some of the things that Charlie has to do. So Charlie's always going to have 4 attackers. When she's in the back row, there's going to be 3 front row attackers. There's going to be 1 in the back row with her, so she has 4 to go to. When she's in the front row, 2 in the back and 2 in the front. So she's always has somewhere to go. Now, it comes down to the decision-making. Where is she going? How was the pass? What options does she have? Where is she going? And then where does she set each player? Because each player out of the back row likes the ball in a little bit of a different spot. Mm-hmm. So it's a combination of talent and just split-second decision-making. It's benefited the Badgers' offense greatly.
John, for those who are checking in and are really leaning forward in their seats now that Big Ten play is starting, who are some of the powers that you can expect Wisconsin to be hanging out with atop the standings if they're going to make another run at a Big Ten title? And it all starts against Rutgers this week?
Yeah, so I think you start with Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
It's once again, it's Nebraska. They're the top team that I think that you're going to have to beat. At the start of the year, I would say Penn State was going to be up there as well. But I'm not quite sold on Penn State yet. They've had some issues with their setter, who's not going to be competing this year with them. So that obviously is going to factor in. So I don't know what Penn State is going to be like. And outside of Nebraska, is it going to be a team like Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota's knocking on that top 10, and they have a lot of talent too, although they have also absorbed some injuries. So, I think honestly, Corey, it comes down to Nebraska and probably Wisconsin.
That's what I like to hear. That's the rivalry that we've had our eyes locked in on for a while now, right? It's the one that you circle on the calendar. John, we've been dancing around this question, but what's the identity of this year's Wisconsin Badgers women's volleyball team? And how is head coach Kelly Sheffield the common denominator, whether you lose somebody to the transfer portal or to graduation or with eligibility? How has Kelly Sheffield been navigating leading this new group in the first month of play?
He's been doing it, like I said earlier, where, he takes, what do we have in 2025? What talent do we have? Where did we get, obviously that's now coming from the transfer portal,
mm-hmm.
coming from overseas, it's coming from high school recruits coming in. You gather all the talent, the best players you think you can get, and then you put together the team around that. And right now this team's identity, I think, is offense. Now, that's not to say that their defense isn't great as well, because when you have Carter Booth and Allie Andrew, who's a transfer from Baylor,
mm-hmm.
I think their defense up front, positive block touches, stuff block, and then their defense in the back row with Kristen Simon, a freshman libero. I think their defense is really, really good too. But I think the identity this year so far would be offense, and they're third in the nation in team hitting percentage at .325. So that's something I think is going to be a very strong suit of Wisconsin. And like I said, Kelly he gets the players, he fits them to what they're going to succeed best in. He makes tweaks along the way, and he tries to coach them and teach them how to get better and keep them healthy and keep them fresh and get ready for December, because that's when it matters most.
Man, John, you do it every time I talk to you. You've got me as excited as possible, as can be, if I wasn't already, about the Wisconsin Badgers Big Ten season, volleyball in general. And I know everybody on the other end of the microphone or the speaker for 100.5 ESPN Madison and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, they feel the same way. Thank you so much for the time, my friend. Where can fans find you on social media for all things Wisconsin Badgers?
Yeah, on X at JONARIAS Radio. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at JonCast Podcast. That's JONCAST Podcast. You can check out my podcast. I talk a lot of volleyball on that as well. And then, of course, on the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network, Friday against Rutgers, 6:30 pre-match show, first serve at 7:05.
Awesome. The stage is set. John, thank you so much for the time. We will check in with you throughout the season, I'm sure, but let's go get a Big Ten title again.
All right. Thanks, Corey.
That was Jon Arias, play-by-play voice of the Badgers women's volleyball team. Wisconsin opens up Big Ten play against Rutgers Friday. First serve set for 7 p.m. on 100.5 ESPN Madison. Reporting for 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, I'm Corey Sparks.
Family is your legacy. Planning for a natural disaster will make sure you're all safe. Visit ready.gov/plan today for the tools and tips you need to protect that legacy. That's ready.gov/plan. A message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm Wade Bates with your Daily Dodge Sports Center. The Brewers open up their final regular season series this weekend tonight against the Reds at American Family Field. The Crew's magic number is 1 to clinch the number 1 overall seed in the postseason. Phillies edged the Marlins last night. Milwaukee needs to win one game against the Reds